Hello. So basically, Jade did a course on food safety, and it was 6.5 hours of my time. The exam took me 8 minutes, but I have all of the information, so I thought, why not make a video, because I can, and it makes it feel worth my time. So I have all of my notes, which is a few pages of notes, double-sided, and then I have this book, which you get given. So this might be, I'll do parts of the video. So this will be part 1, and we can kind of separate it, I guess, and then after today, if you want me to do another video, then I can do that, because I don't want to put all the information in one video if you want to see more, if that makes sense. So I will jump to the video instead of Jade talking. So this is for the industry basically, by the way, and it's the level 2 CIEH, which probably doesn't mean much to you, but that's fine. So the first thing that we're going to do is the importance of food safety. So I do have the whiteboard. I don't know if you'll be able to read the whiteboard, because it's not on the wall like it was for the previous video. But, and also we have the creaky bed still, because that's not changed. My brain gets ahead of itself. Safety is, E-T-Y. So, the importance, of food safety. Black's probably a better one. Basically, it's to protect the customer. So the customers need to be able to eat and not worry about experiencing illness or injury, because even just poor standards of food safety can lead to really serious harm and possibly even death, which isn't what you want. That word may be used a few times throughout the video as a warning now. Just there are a few words that may be triggers for people's anxiety, so I just wanted to warn you now. Yeah, so if you get it wrong, we'll use red for an X and green for a tick. Customers may complain. They could become ill. food that's not stored properly. So if you keep your food at the wrong temperatures, then it could you'll have to basically throw it away. So that would be high volume of waste and bad reputation for the business. You might not be able to see as I go further down. And the other one is legal claims. Legal claims. And this can basically involve a fine or being shut down. They can, I think one of them is called a prohibition, which is they just completely close you down because it's dangerous. It's far too dangerous for the customer and for the employees as well. So if you get food safety right, the food is safe to eat. This isn't easy. I understand why teachers struggle. Food is safe to eat. The costs will be lower, less volume of waste, or a lower volume of waste. Which in turn decreases costs. So let us do that. Customers are happy, and that's what you want after all. Happy customers means return custom. And the business complies with the law. So that means you will avoid fines. Basically, it's highly unlikely if you get everything right that you will be fined. So yeah, also you'd have a good reputation, which would go alongside the happy customers and return customers. So yeah. Jade's belly's rumbling. It's nearly dinner time. I could actually cook dinner. Just like get off. I'm sorry if that's going to annoy some people. It should be okay. Common food hazards. Does this pen work? Yeah. Food hazards are separated into 4 categories. I'll try and do this so you'll still be able to see. We have physical. I'm sorry, my stomach is crazy. Physical. Chemical. Microbial. I can never say the word. Basically microbiological, but they just shorten the word down. And allergenic. Yeah, so a physical would be something like say jewellery or hair, nails, jewellery, that's another thing, jewellery. jewellery, bits of equipment maybe. That could be found in the foods. Pest droppings or fur, or sometimes even the carcasses, which is horrible to think about. This is why you should always check the food hygiene rating before you go and eat anywhere, unless you would like to be in the dark about what you eat. If you think that's better. Dust and dirt. That's another one. And bits of shell for eggshell, or bones from meat and fish. So they would all be classed as physical. Chemical can be cleaning chemicals. You can get food safe ones that aren't dangerous for the body. Oh, that's just not got right. That would do. Cleaning chemicals. That does say chemicals. Residues of pesticides used on fruits or vegetables. Poisonous plants. P-I-O-S-O-N-O-U-S. We'll find out. Someone will tell me if I'm wrong. Or wild mushrooms. And in pest traps you get the bait for them. This only gives me a rough, the headings. Bait for pest traps. The ones that are obviously poisonous. So these are just the examples, and then we'll go on to what they cause. Like microbial, microbiological, we'll call it, is bacteria. Dairy products, not dairy products, that's this one. Viruses, yes, and molds and yeast, because yeast is basically alive. It's a living bacteria, kind of. I can't explain it. Living organism, that's what I'm looking for. Organism. Mold and yeast, or molds. Not the wrong kind of mold, is that? So allergenic, there are 14 allergens that have to be known for UK law by chefs or front of house people, so who work in a restaurant, because it has to be they're obviously the most recognised. You have celery, cereals containing gluten, so wheat, rye, barley, oats or spelt. Crustaceans, that's the one, crabs or prawns, eggs, fish, lupin, which is a garden flour, so you use lupin flour in pasta or pastries. Milk, which is obviously lactose, and mollusks, which are mussels or oysters as an example. Mustard, nuts, so almonds, hazelnuts, Brazil nuts, walnuts, pecans, peanuts, which is separate because some people can eat other nuts but not peanuts, sesame seeds, soya, and sulfur dioxide or sulfates, which are preservatives used in some foods and drinks, and that's at a level of above 10 milligrams per litre or kilogram. I have to have that all written down. So the main ones that are in here, as an example, are nuts, eggs, and dairy products. So they're your most common, or the ones that you hear about most. And yeah, so if I just rub this out and then move on to the harm that they can cause, or the hazards. You know, the harm that the hazards will cause. It takes a lot for me to organise my brain, so my apologies. That goes on so afterward. Right. Physical can be choking or broken teeth. So it's a choking hazard. So if there's a hard object and you bite into it, because obviously you're expecting it to be soft. Majority of the time, I guess. You don't expect to find like a nail or something in there. Broken teeth, cuts in or lesions, so cuts inside the mouth from a sharp object. And a feeling of disgust, basically. So, what have I eaten? Because you wouldn't expect to find it in there. Disgust. Is that written down for me? Yeah, there we go. Chemical. The food would taste unpleasant. Should be tainted. A burning sensation or sickness depending on the chemical. And long-term damage to the body. I keep forgetting this is a whiteboard, I can rub things out. I did it again, didn't I? Microbial could be food poisoning. Or foodborne disease. And BORNE. sorry, I realised I didn't underline that. Mild to moderate allergic reactions. So, depending on the severity of the person's allergy, would depend as to how serious the reaction would be. Mild to moderate allergic reaction, and the severe cases would be anaphylaxis, and I can find you the definition of that in a minute if you are unaware. Anaphylaxis. Anaphylaxis is a severe, potentially life-threatening allergic reaction. So that's probably one of the highest types of the reaction, or adverse reaction to the food. So what are the four main types, or the four most recognised types? I'll write them in the corner. So, contamination is like the definition of contamination. Is the presence. I think I have it written here instead of, yeah. Presence of an object. Not an object. Presence of basically something that shouldn't be there, but I can't word it properly. Presence of something that shouldn't be there. There's probably a better way to word it. I can't word things. So that occurs when hazards are not controlled properly. You get contamination. Now probably the most common term of contamination you've heard would be cross-contamination. But that is only when it comes to the actual food. The contamination could be the presence of wood or splinters from like a corkboard, or the drawing pins, the ingredient being in there, like say milk, if they have lactose, if they're lactose intolerant to lactose, yeah. Bacteria and viruses, and pesticides, that they're all classed as contamination because they shouldn't be present. So basically, as a food handler, you have to try and prevent the contamination as much as possible, especially bacterial. can do the bits that I haven't done in another video. This is just the basic stuff. So, well, not really the basic stuff, but just the easy stuff to explain. I'm still struggling to explain it right. Bacterial multiplication. So there are four main things that bacteria need to multiply, and they multiply by a process known as binary fission. Binary, B-I-N-A-R-F-I-S-S-I-O-N. Binary fission. And this is where one of the bacteriums becomes 2, and then 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. So it times itself by 2 basically. So the 4 things that they need are time, warmth, I know people hate this word, I'm going to have to say moisture. I know people hate it, I'm sorry. And nutrients. Which is why when you make bread and you use like live yeast, you put sugar in with the water and the yeast, or basically with the yeast, so that it has something to feed off of. Under the optimum conditions, bacteria can double in number every 10 to 20 minutes. The danger zone, which we can go into with temperatures, is between, this is going to be in Celsius, 5 degrees Celsius and 63 degrees Celsius. The optimum temperature is body temperature, which is 37 degrees Celsius. And that's for rapid bacterial multiplication. 5 degrees, the rough thing, times it by 2 at 30. So about 40 Fahrenheit-ish. Yeah. As a rough estimate. That's not happening, so if you want to work that out, feel free to. But obviously you know what the body temperature is supposed to be in Fahrenheit. Yeah, and these need, like other living things, need water. Needs water. And need food. So this is why they can multiply in large numbers on especially protein rich, so food that's high in protein. And these foods are usually known as the danger foods. So they're called high risk foods, and this can include eggs, poultry, milk, fish, cheese, things like that. Basically milk products. Some bacteria have things called spores. I won't bother writing this, I'll just explain it. and the spores basically create like a shell which harbours the genes for the bacteria. So when the temperatures after lower than 5 and higher than 63, they form a shell which has the genes for the bacteria, and they can survive extreme heat and long periods of cooking. And basically as soon as the temperatures are optimum again, I suppose, they revert back to the form of bacteria or bacterium, and they're capable of multiplying again through binary fission. That's why botulinum, I think that's how you say it, it's canned foods, which is why most canned foods are mush, because they have to be heated to 132 degrees Celsius as a minimum to ensure that the bacteria is killed for that, because otherwise it will survive and will be thriving in a can of food. But that doesn't happen, so don't worry, the precautions have to be taken legally to make sure everything is fine. And Bacillus cereus is found in rice. They are spore forming, which is why you always be careful with reheating rice. Yeah, that's the only way I remember it. Rice is like cereal and it's serious. So that's all difficult stuff. I'll go through the key terms. We have HACCP, HACCP, and this stands for Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points. So basically this is a food safety management system. So basically how you ensure that your food is going to be saved. Food safety management system. So when you organise HACCP, you would be looking at let's do it in a different colour. The supplier. This is one that I could spell wrong, so my apologies. So you'd make sure that they are reputable. So that would be doing background checks, and you legally have the right to go and see the place where they store the food, things like that. Supplier, deliveries and temperature. For example, if you had a delivery in a compartment lorry, half frozen and half fresh, you would always put the fresh away first, because that is closer to being in the danger zone, which is between 5 and 36, whereas frozen foods, the minimum temperature is -18 degrees. So whilst the food may be thawing, or the temperature may be increasing. It's not in the danger zone, unlike the fresh food would be. So you would look at the packaging to make sure it's not damaged. And you would check the dates. So the use by date for the industry is the one you go by, because that is the legal requirement for when the food should obviously be used by, whereas best before is the manufacturer's recommendation of when to use the food by, so when the food will be at its best, hence best before. The highest temperature that a fridge can be for refrigerated foods is 8 degrees Celsius, and this is because the French like their soft cheeses. But best practice, so this is the legal requirement, but best practice is 5 degrees Celsius. And frozen is minus 18 degrees Celsius. Yeah, and the Food Safety Act of 1990, obviously this is the UK, is about the use by dates, just in case you're wondering, which I doubt you are. Unpackaging, you will be able to see that. Unpacking and storage. This will be the last thing I'll do and then I'll end the video. It's nearly 40 minutes long. When you unpack the foods, you would always, I think we use the word decant into something else, because the outside packaging has a high chance of being contaminated. So if you were contaminated, to put it straight into the fridge, say, or even into the stock cupboard, there's a high chance of bacterial growth. And there's a bacteria called Listeria, which can still I suppose the word's reproduce, multiply. The bacteria can still multiply in the fridge, so that's Listeria. It's quite dangerous. So yeah, and you'd obviously make sure that the fridges are checked regularly to make sure that there are no anomalies in temperatures, so that everything's working properly. And yeah, and obviously you just check the temperatures of things and record them. That's another thing, always record them. Preparation would be make sure that you wash the food properly. I don't need to write that. Basically you just make sure you wash all the soil off, because again that could have traces of pesticides or the soil. So yeah, cooking temperatures. Most of the time we say 75, but it's 70 degrees. Best practice is 75, I believe. 70 degrees Celsius for 2 minutes. And regenerating food, so like reheating food, we call it regen, is 75 degrees for at least 30 seconds minimum. You can only reheat them once. You don't reheat the food more than once. That's best practice again. I don't believe that's a legal requirement. And in order to cool food, the food has to be chilled to a safe temperature of below 5 degrees or below 8 degrees in 90 minutes. So in order to achieve that, you could put it in a shallow tray, or break them down into smaller portions, just to ensure that they get chilled to legal limit within 90 minutes. Also, blast chillers are very popular in the industry because it's like it just cools the food down quicker, basically. A blast chiller, because putting hot food in a normal fridge can increase the temperature of the fridge, which therefore would put food possibly in the danger zone. Basically everything leads back to danger. Serving. The temperature has to be 63 degrees Celsius and up. So any lower than 63 degrees Celsius is illegal to serve. This includes food on a buffet, like a hot buffet, or food being sent out. But food can be left out for, what was it? I think it's an hour and a half again, so 90 minutes. Yeah, I believe it's 90 minutes. So when it comes to taking temperatures, you go for the core temperature. I can see why this took 6.5 hours to teach, because I've not even scratched the surface. Core temperature, which is the thickest part of whatever it is. So say a joint of pork, you would go for the middle, or in a poultry bed, so say chicken, you go between the breast of the chicken and the leg, because that's with the most meat, so that'll be where you'll find whether or not it's cooked, or legal rather. And then the last thing I will talk about is FIFO, and that's first in, first out. So basically, if you order food, the food that you would use first would be the food with the closest use by date. So what needs to be used first? If you order fresh food, obviously the use by dates will be longer, I guess. So basically it's just common sense, first in, first out, but some people don't follow that. And then you have a higher chance of food waste. So yeah, that is a tiny proportion of, I think we covered 2 pages in this book and a page and a half in this book. So there's plenty more for me to talk about if you want to hear me. But yeah. Let me know if you want more videos of this kind of setup again. I know it's not extremely professional, but yeah, let me know.